How to shoot a basketball for beginners. I'm Coach Sam, I'm your shooting coach and shot doctor, and in this video I'm going to be giving you tips and drills to help you to become a better shooter. Regardless of whether you're just beginning and you're a younger player, or whether you're a collegiate or pro player and you're still wanting to improve your shot, these tips and drills will help you to become a better shooter. Stay tuned and we'll get right into it. Starting with our footwork, moving on to then our hand and shoulder, elbow placement, both with our shooting hand and our guide hand. Then we will talk about consistent energy transfer, starting with our bottom, working our way up. Then I will talk about the follow-through necessary. At the very end, if you stay tuned, I'll give you several shooting drills that will really help you to become a great shooter. All right, so the first thing we're talking about is our footwork. We want our feet to be right around shoulder width apart when we get ready to shoot. We don't want them too wide, and we don't want them too close together, or we don't have good balance. The next thing I want to talk about is having a slight turn to the side. I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, make sure you do the opposite on everything. If you watch the best shooters in the world, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, they all have a slight turn to the side. This will help them and will help you with your proper alignment as you get ready to shoot. Next, I want to talk about our feet and our legs and our bend. We want to have a comfortable knee bend. We don't want to be too low, and we don't want to be obviously standing straight up. We want to have our legs bent comfortably to allow them to expand and create that motion and momentum. We want to be on the balls of our feet, okay? I want to be on the balls of my feet. I don't want to be on my heels. A great drill that you should be working on that'll incorporate several different aspects of our shot is going to be dribbling into the shot. So when I'm here, I dribble left, 1, 2, and I can see I'm shoulder width apart. Same thing going the other direction. Dribble right, 1, 2, I've got a consistent shoulder width. Okay, use the dribble in order to figure out the correct and comfortable stance with your footwork. We talked about off the dribble our footwork. Now I want to talk about and break down shooting it off of a spot up position. As a left-handed shooter, I want to have my right foot down and I want to receive this pass with my left foot halfway in the air. It's halfway in the air, and then it's going to land about a foot in front of my right foot. So my dominant hand is left, my dominant foot is my left. It's going to start behind, I'm going to catch, and it's going to land in front of my right. A great way to practice on your spot-up shooting is to spin the ball to yourself, okay? So I'm about 1.5 feet behind the three-point line with my right foot planted. My left foot is about a foot behind that, shoulder width. I'm gonna spin the ball to myself, and as my foot is halfway in the air, I receive the ball. My left ends up in front of my right, and now I'm ready to shoot it. I'm on the balls of my feet, comfortable bend. All right, the next phase that we're going to talk about is our actual shooting arms, our shoulder, elbow, both our shooting arm and our guide hand, okay? We're going to use a technique that I've created called the lazy arm swing to figure out the right spot for our shooting hand. In order to figure this out, go ahead and walk lazily and let that arm swing, and then prop it up. Okay, you can see where my arm is at. It's not directly in front of me, and it's not out to the side. By swinging it in a natural position and then bringing it up, that's going to give us the most consistent and most comfortable position for our shooting arm. For me, it's about right here. My pointer finger is right at about my eye. My elbow is slightly off from the midline of my body. in a smooth L position with a 90-degree angle here in our shooting hand. Next, we want to talk about our guide hand. A common mistake is that too many people put their guide hand too close together. We want to form this T in our thumbs, however we want it extended. In order to do this, there's two different ways you can do it. Bring your guide hand more in front of the ball, or bring it more on top of the ball. This will allow you to relieve tension and stress in the shooting hand. Instead, spread your fingers out comfortably so that it's an easily replicated shot. It's going to be comfortably on the ball. I'm going to have my wrist back so I can see a little bit of a wrinkle in there, and then I've created that perfect 90-degree angle like we talked about. Going back to our dribble into drill, another way to test where you want your hands is to again dribble into your shot. If I dribble into this and my hands are too close together, it's going to be uncomfortable, and you might even go and start losing the ball because you don't have a good handle on it. So just mess around, dribbling left and right, and see where that comfortable pickup is. You can see where my hands are. Okay, I've created a T, but they are extended. It's extended, they're not close to touching. This way I know every time when I go to pick up, I don't have to risk losing the ball because they're too close together, and I don't have good grip on the ball, and it's not comfortable and therefore not consistent. Next, I'm going to give you two last tidbits of advice here when it comes to your shooting hand and the ball placement. We want to make sure that we can see some daylight out of the ball here. Okay, we can see right through there, the other side of the court. We do not want to have that ball on our palm, as then we don't have the correct grip on it, and it's easily to move off. The way to test this is put the ball in your palm, move it around. You don't have very good connection to it. But put a little space on it and have it on the finger pads and fingertips, and suddenly you have a lot better control of the ball. The next tip I'm going to give you is always set the seams so they're going left to right when you get ready to shoot. Do not have them going up and down like this. The reason for this is so that you can constantly check the spin of your ball. We want to have perfect backspin and not any side spin, and we definitely do not want a knuckleball. By setting the seams and shooting it straight, we will not see the seams because of the spin. If I don't set them and I spin it, we obviously see the seams, but we don't know if it's going sideways or not. If I set them and I have some side spin, we can then see that, and we can figure out what corrections we need to make to shoot a perfectly lined up ball. Shooters, just real quick, if you've learned anything up to this point, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm a longtime college coach and shooting coach, and I'll be teaching you how to become a better shooter throughout my channel. All right, going over the next phase of shooting, I'm going to talk about the energy transfer and a congruent, consistent flow of energy that we want with our body as we shoot it. It starts with our legs, okay? We want our legs bent comfortably. We want to be locked and loaded in our shooting position. I want to be able to see just over the top of the ball here. Then I want one fluent motion. As my legs extend, my arm begins to extend, and I'm going out at the basket, and I begin to then flick my wrist at the basket, ending it down towards the ground. What I don't want is to bend my legs and then extend them before I've begun the movement with my elbow. On the flip side, I don't want to begin moving my elbow before I've moved my legs. And I do not want to go behind my head. We want to act as if there's a plane over the top of our head. When we get ready to shoot, we don't want to break this plane. I don't want to go behind the head, I don't want to go to the side. I want to be locked and loaded in this L position. And as my legs extend, the energy transfer is going to go up through my legs, through my midline of my chest, and I'm going out at the rim in one motion. So it should look something like this. My legs are bent, I'm here, and as my legs extend, my arms extending. Now that we've talked about the energy transfer, I want to talk about the last step, which is going to be actually following through with your shot. After we use these other steps that I've taught you, and we can see just over the ball, we would then want to create that fluent motion and then follow through the correct way. As I follow through, I want to be out at the rim. What I don't want, as I've talked about, I don't want to be up, and I don't want to be out here. I also don't want what I call the alligator arm, where I flick the wrist, but my arm's not fully extended. This is short arming it, and you won't be consistent. Here's a tip to help you when you shoot. Think about falling forward at the rim. So when I shoot it, I'm thinking about falling forward, okay? If you watch the best shooters in the world, Steph Curry's, the Kevin Durant, they will always end up in front of where they shot unless they're shooting some sort of fadeaway. But a spot-up shot, an open shot, they're gonna start, let's say, behind the three-point line, they're gonna shoot it, and they're gonna fall forward and end up in front of the three-point line. This will help also then with your follow through, because you'll be thinking about shooting at the rim and therefore having to fall forward. If you have a habit of jumping straight up, straight down, you're often going to be shooting the ball up because you're thinking about landing in the same spot. And that's not what we want. That's not going to give us the best optimal arc for our shot. Okay? The next thing we're talking about is our guide hand. As we shoot it, my right hand's my guide hand. I eventually want to release it off the ball. When you're younger, you might need to hang on to it a little bit longer. As you get older, you want to find that comfortable position to release it. So as I release, I'm going to move my hand off the ball. Now, what we don't want to do is have our thumb involved. I don't want to flick it with my thumb. That's going to create side spin. Instead, what I can do is point my guide hand at the rim. So I shoot it, and then I'm pointed at the rim. This way I have all 10 fingers going at the same direction. That's going to help with a straight line with your shot. If you watch Steph Curry, he often will shoot it, and then he will have his guide hand pointed down just like that. All right, I'm now going to give you 3 great shooting drills that you can work on daily to help perfect your shot, regardless if you're just beginning or if you're really working on perfecting your shot. We talked earlier about dribbling into it. Use the dribble into to work on both your footwork, for both bringing it to the midline, and then also with your hand placement so that you know every time you pick it up, your hands aren't too close together and the ball is not falling out. Now the first actual drill we're going to go into is one-handed shooting, form shooting in front of the rim. I break it down into 3 different stages. The first stage, you're going to have the ball directly out in front of you. My legs are straight, my whole body's straight, my arm is straight. This is the first step in this shooting. It's the first beginning phase. Second, we're going to load it and lock it. I can see just over the top of the ball. I got my 90-degree angle. My knees are bent now. I'm going to hold this for about a 1 count. The reason I do this is so that we're not creating a quick movement and I'm not creating my shot as I'm locking it, but instead it teaches me the discipline to lock it, hold it, and then begin my motion once I'm locked in. And third, we're obviously going to go ahead and shoot it at the rim. Remember, we're going at the rim, not up. As long as I have the ball not in the palm of my hands, but on my finger pads, that will naturally create the correct and most efficient arc for our shot. Let me show you what it looked like. Step one, my legs are straight, slightly tilted to the side, arms straight out, I'm looking at the rim. Step two, I lock and load it, I can see over the top of the ball. And then three, I'm going right at the rim. All right, now the second drill I'm going to give you is going to be side back forward shots. A little different, okay? When you're always shooting at the rim, at the hoop, you can be a little long, a little short, a little left, a little right, especially from a few feet away, it'll still go in. As you extend your range though, that inch or two to the left or right is going to be a miss. When we miss, we want to make sure that we are long or short. Then it's just a matter of adjusting our legs to get a little more power, maybe releasing it a little bit earlier to get a little more power in our shot and having that energy transfer for a deeper range shot. However, if you're missing left or right, you have a problem in your technique, in your form. So what side backboard shooting is going to do is really tell us if we're shooting it straight on. The goal here, you can use one hand or two hand, is obviously to hit perfectly the side of that backboard and have it come right back to us. If it's not straight on, we know it won't come back to us and we know we're not shooting a perfect ball. A little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Perfect. Perfect. So you can see my first two were a little bit left or right. Again, those might go in if you're close to the basket, but we want to be great shooters from three-point range and beyond. Those last two, you could see, came directly back to me. That means I know I shot it in a direct, straight line, and therefore when I extend my range to the three and beyond, it will also be directly on line. Use side backboard shooting to test yourself and make sure you're on line. And the last drill we're going to go over is lie down shooting. Just like it's called, we're actually going to be lying down, working on our shot. This is something you can do anywhere, whether you're lying in bed, basketball court, the weight room. As long as you have somewhere that you can lie down and you got a basketball and the roof's not too high, you can work on lie down shooting. I'm working on shooting it straight up, having it come straight down to me. I can work one-handed. I can then do two-handed. If it's going to the side, I know it's off. Lie down shooting is also great for you to check your spin because you're already looking up at the ball. This is why I talk about setting the seams, setting the lines, going left to right. We want to shoot it straight up, have it lie down, fall right down in place where we shot it from, but also use it to check the seams on your ball to make sure you're shooting a straight shot with no side spin. My question for you is, how serious are you about becoming a great shooter? If you're serious and you really want to take your game and your shooting ability to the next level, contact me. We'll set up a free 15-minute phone call. We'll figure out if we're a good fit. I will personally train you to become a great shooter. I'll give you a 30-day workout plan, and then we will meet on a weekly basis. I'll give you different drills to work on, and I will have you film yourself doing these shooting drills. We'll meet at the end of the week, and we'll talk about different corrections you need to make, what's good and what's bad, and I will help you become the shooter that you want to be. Thanks a lot for watching, and remember, shooters always shoot. I'll see you on the next video.